Alright ladies, let's talk pelvic floor. As all of my clients know, I'm super enthusiastic about the pelvic floor. It should be important to everyone because our pelvic floor is what allows us to keep our urine in, to keep our poop in, to make sure that everything is nice and strong. All of the exercises are to strengthen the pelvic floor, to increase blood flow, to increase the valve feeling and overall valve feeling in the pelvic floor. And to understand what the exercises are doing, and when I'm talking about 3 layers, that's what I'll explain now. So basically, this is our bone structure. Our symphysis is right here. Our pubic arches are right here. Our yoni would be right here. This would be a vagina hole, and this would be our urethra. This one would be our anus, our butthole. Over here would be our tailbone. And right here, our sacrum. Our first and most inner layer is pretty huge. It kind of has the function of a trampoline, and it kind of looks like a trampoline as well. So all of this brown stuff is muscle. It's a really, really big muscle. It helps for when we're bouncing, to bounce everything back to make sure that all the organs are staying in. And this gap right here is the gap where baby has to come through. So you can imagine that by giving birth, that part is pretty well stretched. So this is the most inner layer that we might not have a lot of awareness about. But with the exercises, you might start feeling that inner layer, and you might feel the feeling and the sensation of it on the bottom of your stomach. So this is the most inner layer, our trampoline. Our middle layer goes right here. So our symphysis again is right here. And this triangle shape gives additional support to your urethra and to your yoni. It is not by the anus, so it's just up on top. Again, this hole doesn't look super big, and baby has to squeeze through that. So you can imagine how stretched out that muscle is after giving birth. So just give yourself lots of grace, lie down a lot, don't sit too much, don't be standing too much. Just relax as much as you can, and then gently, gently start trying to exercise your pelvic floor. The most outer level of your pelvic floor looks like a figure 8 and literally goes around your yoni and your anus in a figure 8. And then it's got those side muscles to kind of keep everything up hanging. This is the muscle that when there is tearing is involved in the tearing. So you can tear this muscle right here, and sometimes even this muscle right here tears as well. So that would be a very, very big tear when that bottom muscle is included. So just to be aware, again, your body has to stretch that muscle in order for baby to be able to come out. And when there's slight tearing happening in the muscle, this part is involved. Layers I'm talking about. In the beginning, you're only going to be able to feel that most outer layer. And you can start the pelvic floor exercises once your yoni is properly healed up. So that means especially when there is a muscle involved in the tearing, you're going to want to wait for that to heal up before you start the pelvic floor exercises. If it's just skin that's involved, you can start slightly earlier. And within the first week, I love it when women start having awareness of their pelvic floor. So what I like to present is that your pelvic floor is this lotus flower that is currently open all the way. And let's just close your eyes. You're imagining that your yoni and your pelvic floor is a lotus flower that's currently open. It's allowing all that blood to come out. It's allowing all that space to slowly, slowly come back to normal. And the way to imagine that, not actually physically doing it yet, just imagining it, is to imagine that pelvic floor, meaning that lotus flower to just close the petals halfway. We don't want a rose that's all the way closed yet, but just halfway. And then to relax again and to open that petal, those lotus petals. And then again on the exhale, to imagine it being closed halfway. You do that exercises every day and you start feeling a connect to your pelvic floor. And every day you can close that petal of slightly more, so that your rose petals or your lotus petals in the end are closed up all the way, and it's a very, very tight lotus petal, and then you're opening it up again. And then on week 2, I like to actually get that from the mental image into your pelvic floor. Again, this is only if you only have skin tearing and there's no muscle involved. Depending on your midwife and or your provider, you can start with the exercises. Generally, the recommendation is to start with these exercises once your birth wounds on your yoni are healed up, then you are good to go. Or your cesarean section scar is healed up. We want to make sure that everything is nice and healed before we start these exercises. But once everything is healed, you can start the exercises. It will increase blood flow. It will help you keep your organs in. It will help you with the feeling and sensation and or holding in your pee and your poo. And it will help with feeling pleasure in your yoni again, because that's what our pelvic floor is also great for. We exercise our pelvic floor and we get great sensation when we make love. So just to keep that in mind, partners can participate in the exercise as well. Men have a pelvic floor as well. They can do all the same exercises. So invite your whole family to do exercise with you. Have fun, guys.